It must be very difficult for many of you. Being stuck in your house or your apartment, not able to touch anyone, being subjected to all kinds of crazy programming on television, mostly fear, finger pointing. But I think if you look a little closer, you're going to find people changing. People are starting to care about each other. And we should lead the way in this. This is what we should do as people on the path, people who want to set an example of the direction we're going. A few days ago, I put up the dawning of the age of Aquarius on my Facebook page. And inwardly, I had some people push back on that. How can you say something beautiful is going to come out of this? And inwardly, I answered back. And I said, I guess your view of the future is different than mine. We can view this time as the complete collapse of civilization, ending up in some sort of a medieval fiefdom wars against each other, city-states and villagers fighting for water and stuff. That's a possible outcome. But you know, I don't believe that's going to happen, because I didn't come here to incarnate, to move a world like that, to be in a world like that. We, all of us here, incorporated so that we could show the way. We would be the way showers during this time of great strife and struggle. People are frightened out of their minds, and they're angry. And the world is full of uncertainty. And in the middle of it, people are playing political games. So it's easy to be distracted. It's easy to be pulled into all this negativity and the doom and gloom. But I'm here to tell you that I don't believe that that's going to be the outcome. It's just a process we're going through right now. We didn't incarnate here just to watch this whole thing burn down and us step off to the side and say, oh, that was kind of interesting. We came here to do something, to be the light in this darkness, to be calm in the middle of all of this chaos. We came here for a reason, and this is the time. The only way you can be the way shower is to clear it up within yourself. Use this time right now to deepen your meditation. Maybe to dust off some of those really nice metaphysical books that you have on the shelf. Autobiography of a Yogi or something like that. To watch a few of Brahma's meditations. To pray for each other. To take people who you see are suffering and just hold them in your heart and just keep putting light and love all over them, knowing that they're on the eternal path, and that the time they're going through now is great suffering for many of them. They're losing loved ones, many of them facing death themselves, and many of them will go through this whole thing unscathed, but it will wound them because they're so traumatized by all of this. Had to go shopping the other day. And everybody's keeping their 6 foot space. You know, it's kind of cool. I kept my 6 foot space, not because I was afraid that I would get it. this virus. I kept it because there's always a possibility I could have it. And I certainly don't want to give it to anyone else. So I'm very respectful. I even wore rubber gloves, not to protect me again, but just in case. And as I was shopping, there was this fella come by. He was kind of a rough looking guy. And we kept our space. And I says, how are you doing? And he says, I'm doing good. How are you? And I says, I think I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. And he says, yeah, we kind of have to look after each other. And I said, you're right. That's exactly what we have to do. Can you spread that message every day when you see somebody, a stranger, say, we have to look out for each other now. Take care. I walked by a lady in the park. I felt so sorry for her. She was all bundled up, had her mask. And when I came up, I was keeping my distance from her. As I moved off the path, I looked at her and I said hi. And she was just like this. It was as if I was death itself walking by her. And I felt so sorry for her. Not that I wanted to get into her space, but the fact that she couldn't open up. She was just so afraid. So terribly afraid. I've said many times that in enlightenment, there is no fear. How can you be afraid of God? How can you have fear when everything is God? And you say, well, that's kind of silly. And I disagree. Why is this happening? Why is this happening right now? And I believe that it's happening because we're giving birth to a new age. And in order for that birth to happen, things had to come to a stop. And they're definitely coming to a stop. But that's as if you're watching a birthing. It was when I was watching my two boys be birthed, watching my wife go through the struggles of labor, the pain of labor, the intensity of it. And it would be like when the baby's head is just crowning, you would say, okay, we have to stop now. Now let's all take a break. It doesn't happen like that. The baby's coming. But let's not pretend or even think that the birth itself is what the world is going to be from now on. What this is going to bring about is something so beautiful and so wonderful, and we need to be here to show the way. That's right, you have a purpose here. You can either be part of the problem, which is to focus on all the negativity and all of the politics and all of that craziness that's from the past, or we can move our head into the future and envision a world full of compassion and love. Maybe play John Lennon's song, Imagine, a bit, Imagine a world. What's the baby going to be? It's hard to tell what the baby's going to be like when it's birthing. But once it's out, it's so beautiful. And I want you to know, from my point of view, what this is all about. The collapse of everything will bring about a restructuring. And hopefully during this collapse, people will start caring about each other, helping each other, supporting each other, no matter what religion or political view they have. We're here because we are fellow sentient beings. And once we get through this time, that mode of helping each other and respecting each other and supporting each other should create a whole new way of being. And let's get that in our mind. What you focus on, you experience. And those experiences turn into your reality. So let's focus on something beautiful. You can sit and focus all the time on the numbers going up, and we can, you know, well, boy, evangelicals are finally getting it, what they've got coming to them, or some sort of a judgmental thing like that is so horrible. You've just become part of the problem. Let's state something beautiful. Not Pollyanna, but something how we feel it's happening. What's happening right now is people are starting to help each other. We're becoming more aware of the suffering of people in the country and people in the cities. We're becoming aware of the dangerous and almost catastrophic change this is going to bring to places like India. What can we do to help? What can we do to help our neighbor who's sick? You know, heard a story about a friend of mine. She has in Texas, and she's quarantining herself, and her friend came over from across the street and had a box that was all wiped down, and she shoved the box in, and the box had some wine and some cake, and her friend sat out on the porch 6 feet away, and she sat on the side of the screen door, and they had their wine together. It's a little thing, but it's reaching out. It's playing it safe, but you reach out. The young lady up above me in my apartment complex came down and offered to go shopping for me because I'm a senior citizen. How sweet is that? Have you done that to anyone? Have you reached out to anyone, or are you just all about me and mine? Me and mine. I got to take care of me and mine. I got to protect us from everyone in the world. I don't want a world like that. I want a world of compassion and empathy, with a laissez-faire attitude that let people just kind of do what they want to do as long as they're not hurting anybody. These are interesting times we're in. We need to gather together. Last Friday, we had our first Zoom movie event. And it had a few little technical difficulties. We'll get that worked out. But it was so much fun for us to just sit together on the internet and watch a movie together. It's not all bad. This will pass. Everything's going to be okay. Our concern shouldn't be, is everything going to be okay? Because it will be. Our concern is, how are we going to be during this that's going to affect us once this is over? If we're so busy pushing everybody aside and being afraid of everything and being angry, then when this is all over, we'll just carry that with us. I don't want to live my life like that. And neither should you. We need to care for each other. We need to call each other on the phone. Just tell people that we love them. And if there's people we need to ask forgiveness of, we should do that. Life is short. I never know if I'm going to be here next week. But you know what I do know? I know I've got this moment. I've got this moment right now. And I do what I can. Are you? And I think you will. I have great hope for all of you. I just want you to have a little bit of hope, to get a new vision. As this burns to the ground, as the economy and everything flatlines for a while, once it's over, just a few short weeks, maybe a month or two, once it's over, we will immediately build a new society. A new one, a more beautiful one that's based upon compassion and caring, because that's what got us through it. What gets us through this is what we're going to create at the end. Be of service to others. You can do it and be safe. You don't have to put your life at risk. but you can still do things for others. Even if it's just a phone call asking how you're doing. Is there anything that you need? Reach out. Be the light. And love each other. And meditate. I realize the energies today are kind of weird. I know that. Let's try this. I want you to, let's just see if this works on the internet. I think it will work for some of you. I would like for you to intently focus on my heart and see what you feel. We'll do that just for a minute or two. Focus on my heart. Let's meditate to a couple of songs together and just move into spirit together. We're in this together. You're not alone. It's love, love that binds us together. It's love that binds the entire universe together. This world will pass away, but we will remain. But this world has not passed away yet. We have work to do, work in the way of bodhisattva, selfless giving, selfless service, having empathy and compassion for the suffering of others, to be encouraging when there's so much discouragement, to be brave and resolute when there's so much fear, to point the way. What's going on around us now is simply a birth. We must hold it in our heart, what's to come. And in my world, it's the dawning of a new age. The age of Aquarius. How fortunate we are to be incarnated during this particular shift of consciousness. For the advanced soul, this is what we work for. These are the times we chose to be around. We are not the victims here. We're fighting to get on the first line, to usher in this new way of being, compassion. God bless all of you in my heart. We're all in each other's hearts, really. Read some good books, meditate, write some books, call your friends, call your neighbors. Be available. I will continue to do these meditations every Sunday until all of this is done, or I'm done. We're going to see through this. I love you dearly. Love each other. Namaste.